everyone, it's Lucy, and I'm going to show you today how to make a stamp with a piece of Speedball Speedy Cut two-sided printing block. So this is the way it normally comes. Mine's a bit yellowed because I have to confess I've had this one since 2000. So it has gone a bit yellow in the time that I've had it. So I bought this in San Francisco in the year 2000 when I was doing a trip there, and I bought quite big sheets, so I still have some left over. But you can buy the fresh sheet. It comes from Michaels, Hobbycraft. A lot of the stores that sell craft supplies will sell in the printmaking section Speedball two-sided printing block. It doesn't need to be two-sided, but the thicker one is usually two-sided. You also need a lino cutter, which is also a Speedball lino cutter, and they're very economical and they last a long time. So what I've done here is drawn what I want to create onto the piece of rubber, and I need to now use my tool to carve away what I don't want. So don't leave too much around the edges if you're wanting to be raised. I want this flower to be raised and I want the leaves to be raised, so I'm going to have to cut around the background. So that's a little time consuming, but the way to start is just to slide your tool at this angle, and you can see it picks up a wedge. And it does travel fairly easily. You can turn corners and you just follow it around. Okay, and what that does is it gives it a groove. So you've got a raised bit, which is going to be what we stamp, and then we've got the lower bit. And because I want to get rid of this background, I could actually cut the block smaller. So in this case, I'm going to cut away a little bit more. This block is a little bit more brittle than the white blocks would be too because of its age. You can also then cut away, don't cut towards your finger, cut away what you don't need, because we don't need to spend a lot of time cutting that away. And I will also sometimes just bevel that back. Now, if you want to keep that background and make a border around it, that's fine too. Don't leave really tiny, narrow bits. It is good to leave a bit of solid. So I wouldn't cut this here away. I'm actually going to carve it away. So I'm just going to continue carving what I don't want away. I tend to turn the block rather than turning my knife too much. And always make sure that you keep this cutter at a good angle like this. So if you turn your cutter up this way, you're going to take more than you need to off. Not that that matters, but it makes it hard to cut. Now, even though I want this to be joined, I'm going to give it a fine line. So if you want to give detail lines, just do a narrower cut. Here I don't. And you can see I'm just going to cut. You can see this rubber is quite crumbly, and when I cut this rubber it's not. So I'm going to just keep carving away. I'll speed this video up so you can see how I've carved it. Okay, I've carved most of the background away, you can see, sorry. And what I'm going to do now is with an ink pad, I'm going to check what I have so that I can put some detail in it. So just checking here that I've got some detail. I've done a little bit of too much cutting just there, which is a shame, but I want to put some detail in the leaf. So I'm just going to do a really fine line, and it's good to leave the ink on it so that I can see what I'm cutting away. I'm going to leave some of these fine bits because I think I quite like them. Maybe not this bit here, a bit too much, and this bit here. So if there's bits you don't want, get rid of them at this point. And I also want to put some detail into the poppies, just to make them a bit more interesting. Join there. And you can see there's a bit more detail in that now. I'm just a bit disappointed that I've cut there. Okay, so you can see now that I have this ready to go. And when I get a piece of paper, I can ink it up. Sorry. I can ink it up and I can do a practice stamp. And I can see there what I need to still change. So there's some detail here that's not right. There's also some dust on it, so I'm going to get my brush and clean all the dust off it. Sometimes to get a good imprint you even need to give a little bit of a sand to the stamp. Again, I'm going to put ink on it and have a look at what I didn't like. So there's something there I don't like, and that's obviously there. Not fussed on that. And I'll try it again on a smooth surface. You do need to press all over the stamp. Okay, and again you can choose, oh, I do like this or I don't. I kind of think that looks like grass, so I'm going to leave that and clean up just a little bit here, just next to the poppy. So this is the way that you check your print. And I don't really like the shape of this, so I'm going to make it more like a pod on a poppy. So this is where you can change the look of what you've done. Always clean it off with a brush so that you get a bit more of an idea, otherwise you'll be stamping crumbles. Okay, I'll try it again. There's a little bit there. And I'm quite happy with that. I might just take a little bit, see there's a bit of a square edge there. I'm going to take a little bit of that square edge off. So this is the beauty, you can adapt as you're going. And maybe another little groove there just to make it more interesting and not so solid. Okay, so that's my stamp, and now I'm going to show you how we can use felt pens to colour it. Okay, I've got 3 felt pens, the stamp that I just made. Now I've cleaned it off with a baby wipe, but it still has a bit of a stain because the ink I was using was a bit of a permanent ink. But don't worry about that, so long as it's just a stain and it's clean. Now I've got a yellow felt pen, and I'm going to put some edging detail on these outside leaves with my yellow felt pen. Now you need to work quite quickly, because if you don't work quick enough, this will dry. Putting my red on, and then my green, and I'm just going where I want the detail to be. Now if you find that it is drying, you can get a mist like this, spray it up in the air and run your stamp through it. If you can see that, I'm not actually misting directly on the stamp. I'm just going to put a little bit more red just around the outside of that so you can see it. And then I'm going to stamp it on my paper. And I have my stamped poppy. So you can see there that by spraying a little bit, I'm getting a bit of a texture in there as well, which is really nice. And that's pretty much how you carve a stamp. And you can see here that I've made lots of different ones that I'm going to use in my journals, and they work beautifully. I hope you give it a go and ask me any questions you like. This is Lucy from Artshed Angel, and please follow my page. Thank you.